was pretty cool, wasn't it? Don't know who that was. Hello, how you doing? So, okay, I'm gonna come over here and I'm going to talk about, which I mentioned a few times. I came to Ohio back in, was it 2008-ish? Did I say 2009? Well, I ended up living here for a season of time, off and on, as it took me many years to figure out a way that I could consistently be able to manage taking care of just myself. So don't think that Tracilyn Michael doesn't understand what it's like to be homeless. However, know this, my testimony is what? I was reading the Bible for years and studying psychology and praying every day, several times a day, crying my eyes out, wishing I was dead, wishing that, what, if life isn't gonna get better, then God, please take me to heaven if there is one. As I'm sitting on faces, letting people suck my dick, come all over my face, fuck me in the ass, okay? Oh, they wanted me to do the same to them? One or two maybe, but that's about it. And if you were one of those ones or twos, know this, you were the only ones or twos that would ever receive that by me. Some people say, yeah, well, something tells me that if you saw me, it's not a physical for me. Okay, by the way, the whole entire time I also knew that I was out of place. Okay, I was, it wasn't totally against my heart. I had a sense of humor about it. It's not like I didn't volunteer. And I'm not afraid to talk about it because what? I don't feel the United States government, especially when the country's out of control and they can't take care of the roadways and they can't clean up the garbage and they can't keep the river clean and they can't provide enough parking or enough housing. Did I say that? Food. Let's go to Indiana and talk to some of the farmers today. Huh? Can I send a message over to John Mellencamp and the entire state of Indiana and the farmers respectfully? You don't need money, man. You need fucking God, and you need balls, okay? To stand up for the rights, the right to live. Do you know that if we were to talk to a farmer, out of any given vegetable, fruit, anything that gets planted in the ground, when it produces, how many, like a watermelon or something, are any of those seeds reusable? Because they come from far. You think they fly them down to us every once in a while at another part of the planet? Here's more seed for you. Do you think they sprinkle them out? Do you? Do you? Do you think we're living in like an aquarium? Do you think so? Instead of throwing on concerts to raise fucking money, that's something that what? Well, if we lived in heavenly, we wouldn't need any money. What? We'd live with love and kindness and respect for each other. Hey, oh, you need some help there? Huh? Well, I don't want to do it all day, but I'll help you out for a little. I'll help you get the load into the back of the truck. How about that? In other words, we'd be kind to one another, and we'd help out where we're okay to help out. We wouldn't force people against their heart. Climb up on that scaffolding, climb up on the roof. Well, you gotta do something. Don't be lazy. Why? Because I understand things that you might not understand, and the God that's inside of me is saying, don't do that. You're not created for that purpose specifically, especially today. Meanwhile, as you walk away, whoa, like in a comedy show? No, like in reality. God shows you why he doesn't want you to climb up there. Not with me inside of you, I don't. Is that it? Is God inside of me? Huh? You invited Jesus Christ into your life. The Holy Spirit is inside of you, which means it's multitudes probably of all kinds of things. And I really wanted to meet, you're not, and I talked about this before. There was a little line that was here in the front of this building. I don't remember what it was called exactly at the time. Was it Pyramid 2? But it might have been called something else. I'm not 100% sure today, but it may very well be a recording studio. I saw it online, at least for a season of time it was. And obviously, I will show you then later on, but there's like a parking lot beside it. And I parked my car. I don't know if I did a video on this or not. I didn't go through all my videos so much. They're only going to be up for a limited time, by the way. I'm going to be coming through some things in the next move. And and it might be for like a year or two yet, but so if you want to hear about somebody's life story, that is very open, you might not like everything I have to say, but I would say there's most certainly valuable information. Why? Because I tried to be as truthful as I could. I tried to keep God the center point. This is my life. I don't want to be struggling every day. Do you? Do you want to be struggling every freaking day? Man, what happened to the days of relaxing on the hood of a car in a shady tree? Huh? We have plans later on. What happened to... We got a cookout later on, There's going to be all kinds of food there, different people. Nice people. They stir any trouble, we kick them off the fucking property. Indefinitely. Don't come around here no more. What you fighting for? Here's the thing, check this out. I'm so grateful that I've learned to have a serious sense of humor. They're sizzling me. In other words, I'm pretty certain they want somebody in the human race to speak. The Almighty One evidently is honed in. And there might be other planets, and it might be other, where the higher the rank is, may possibly have, much to look after. Walking through the garden, we may only be, an apple on a tree. We may only be a tomato on a vine, or what is that? You tell me. Come on, help me out. I don't know everything. I was raised walking in the garden, helping out in the garden. My grandmother, farmer, corn, lots of corn. I want to take an Indiana drive this year, while I'm here, because I don't know where I'm going to live in the future. And I understand I've always been on, most of us have been on some kind of tight leash, whether it's responsibility or meaning to a commitment or something that we decided to do, or, limitations as far as to the resources or finances and stuff like that. So I don't want to ride that too much, but I've been working on this project, and it's very stressful for me because I am being tormented continuously, and I'm trying to do the very best that I can. It's not the way I wanted it to originally be. I originally wanted to share life with other people, but they're repelled. Why? I don't know. People are scared of the truth. Are you scared of the truth? What do you think I'm going to do to you? Because a lot of people, they might be, nervous. What are you going to do with me if we're alone? What are you going to try to do? I'll probably laugh at you. It's probably pretty much it. Because it's ridiculous. I'm no different than a caring human being anywhere else. But you have a penis and you wear a skirt. A dress. I know. Am I from another planet, or am I from another country? Maybe my father, who's in heaven, is at a place where there's lots of girls with penises, and they are hot, and very friendly. Maybe they're all wrapped around the Lord, like serpents. Reminds me of that guy that was the one that used to have the magazines, that we all would, there's one, we found it over here in the bush. Do we send him a bill? Does the city clean up the magazines and send him a bill? Well, it has their names all over it, all the models and stuff. Can't you sue them? Or have them reimburse us for the litter that occurred through their selling of merchandise, and then their customers, letting the trash all over the place. It has your name on it. Evidently, you're responsible to pick it up. Did that ever happen? A McDonald's bag or something? It's blowing in the wind. Do they have a text number or a phone number? You got to come here and pick up the bag. Send your closest representative of McDonald's and tell them to pick it up before an animal eats it and chokes on it, or gets into my garden or my flowers, flower garden. I don't know, you tell me. What about it? Man, I have really learned a lot, though, over the last few years. Okay, because I came here in 2008-ish. I said 2009 because I came out here several times. I'm not confused. I came out in 2007, and by 2008, I was already going through some serious stuff. Though I'm not 100% sure right now of the dates, I know somebody who is, or of someone who was, is Right here it is. It says pyramid up there. Check it out. Do you see it still on the rooftop? So you know I'm not fibbing, right? 211. And I parked in the parking lot over here. Not where my car is now. I have a red Cavalier here. It's been in some of my music videos and stuff. I parked more over, in this area. And then obviously I got out of my car and I walked down the sidewalk here. And you can imagine I was nervous because I understood things I was going through, and it wasn't just me being trans. That's only part of it. Okay? I'm going through a lot psychologically, and I don't have a lot of understanding. I don't have full understanding as to why. I've been seeking for quite a long time answers. Okay? I've been trying to talk to something. Is there something up there? Does anything care about me personally? Or is that like bizarre to even think? So check this out. Here's Tracilyn today. And one of the greatest downfalls, I think, for myself while I'm working on my music project is I don't really get to dress a whole lot like I want to on a regular basis. I love summer. I love to wear, let's look back here. I love to wear boots. I got these this past fall off Amazon. I get complimented on them a lot. I'm wearing them today in the sun because number one, they're waterproof and I didn't know if it was going to rain. And number two, they are awesome to walk on. They are very, it's kind of like a stuffed animal underneath my feet. It's very nice. Unfortunately, a lot of shoes that I get a hold of today, like at Walmart, are made of what appears to be more like cardboard. They're not every pair, but a majority of them. In my opinion, with knowledge, I could talk to any chiropractor or any, medical doctor that would be honest and say what? You don't want to walk on cardboard. If you don't believe me, then take any cardboard and duct tape it to your feet and walk around just a little bit. But be careful. Don't go down steps. You definitely don't. You might want somebody holding your hand. Okay? You don't want to be like you're walking on concrete. Anybody will tell you. Especially if you do it a lot. I worked at facilities that cared more about the quality shoes that I am wearing while I'm at work than evidently the local jurisdiction and townships and government cares about what goes into our local retail stores. You know what Walmart is? To the Amish and Mennonite community, this one's for you. Because they wanted to put a Walmart in Ephrata, Pennsylvania a long time ago. And what? They had their reasoning why it would be beneficial. They don't want to interfere with local businesses. And what does Walmart always do? It goes back on its word, doesn't it? In other words, they try to extinct the local businesses, and then what? When they feel the time is right, they start sending over what? Piss poor product. That's exactly what they do. Go get any one of their shirts. How long does a shirt that you buy at Walmart? I bought one today and it's see-through, but it's not a see-through. It's cheap. It's made cheaply. Okay? Now, it wasn't the right size for me because I like to still wear baby girl clothing. Thinking. Huh? Youthful clothing. Why? Because I'm not dead yet. And I'm not asleep any longer. I want to enjoy my life. Didn't you ever want a customized life for yourself? Circumstances, customized clothing, maybe boots? Maybe the finest jewelry would be something little, like a real diamond for once in your nose or something. There you go. The only way you're gonna get it, Tracilyn, is if you're a hooker. Good luck, because that's why the cops hone in on you. Because that is your better chance. Why is that? Why can't me being receive love and goodness and the finer things of the world. I don't want everything. Who does? I mean, if you're being honest, you don't want every single thing in the whole wide world. You want to specific in your brain. You want to surrender to the truth. You want God's guidance. God, please help me to be honest with myself. What are the things that I long for in this life? Because what's the point of believing in God if God isn't going to be with you in your life journey, and together you can put it together and share in your life occurrence or the now moment? Before they push us and they tack weld, after embalming us with all kinds of what? Concrete? Because whatever it is, it's not about American, it's not about black and white, it's not about gay or straight. It is what they don't like humans. What I believe is many signs say from many people, especially recording artists, well, aliens most likely. It's aliens to us because we can't verify because there's no... Do you know where the ladder is here in Ohio to get upstairs? Like way up there into the sky? Where the sun is, most likely. Maybe they don't live in the sun. They say what? They might speak to the sun. Maybe the sun is a life form. Sun, it's time to let darkness fall upon. You think so? You think something's telling a story up there? Cloud to form. It's time to water the earth. Fall. It's time to give a really cool illusion. Hopefully nobody gets lost in it. Wow, what is that? It's like a cloud on the earth. What do you think? Some kids want some water puddles. Says a prayer, God, I want to splash in water puddles. I'm really hot. I want to see a rainbow, God. Some people say, you want to see a rainbow? You want to see a rainbow? Why don't you become a rainbow? Become a rainbow. How do you do that? Some people color their hairs. Some people relate it to God's promise in the Bible. To never drown the entire earth. Is that what it is? God gave a promise. Not that way. Ain't gonna happen again. Once was enough. Because why? Because it seems a lot of times, it does seem a lot of times that what in the Bible is once enough. Is one time enough, or does God have to do it again and again and again and again and again? And that's why, like, maybe our life witnessing is once here, one time. Maybe. You think so? In accordance to the Bible, Scripture, what does that say? Here one time. You want to get it right. Whatever you need to. I don't know, it's different for all of us, but yet there's a lot of similarities. We have to make things right, and a better way is to make things right. But you might not know that, you might think different, and I don't want to manipulate you, but the best way to make things right for me is to take all matters to God. Every single thing, take it to God, give it all to God. The garbage, no matter what it is. The love, the consideration. So a lot of people would say that, you know? And in the Bible and Scripture, many people said that. I come to you with a message of what? Of hope. That you forgive me for my sins, for the things that I've done. Because there's nowhere else to go. The world doesn't forgive me. Like, it's written that you forgive me. Who can forgive us but God? And that goes for me too, right? You want God to channel through you, and what God says, Tracilyn, you can't forgive unless I give you forgiveness, or forgiveness channels through you, right? Every day is like a new day, in a sense. And psychologically, you have to have your guard up. You gotta always be guarding your heart. As the Bible even mentions that, always guard your heart. Your heart. Your heart. You think I mean this heart. Well, I'm pretty sure you want to guard that too, but there's no doubt, right, about this heart. Is that where it is? Or is our heart down here? Am I wrong? Where all the words form, where we're formed. Our brain is kind of like, what, maybe. Our mother's inside of our brain. And God is like, what, the Father. And we're being born, right? Almost, is it continual? We're continuously what mother is giving birth to us. Always. So, anyway, here we go. I was hoping it wouldn't upset anybody here, you know. I don't know if they're still in here or not as far as the studio and stuff. But so I came out of here at this. I was parked probably at, what do you think? Is it number 3, number 4, number 5, or number 6? I'm kind of thinking it was either 5 or 3. But I could be wrong. Today I'm in number 4. Beside 3, 5. Facing the brick wall. I'm only going to be here for a limited time. And I came around here, I had my purse. And can I tell you that when I came to places like this, I was looking to be off work. Okay. In other words, I'm Tracilyn now. When I stayed at hotels, I made myself available for entertainment. Playful entertainment, by the way. Specifically for people perceived as adults and mature adults. Mature adults only. Please. And I can tell by what? How they speak. In the moment. Most likely. Can't guarantee. You hope for the best. That's where prayers come in. Okay. So when I was here, I was Tracilyn Michael. That's right. And I'm trying to make my way through this life, and I don't really want to talk a whole lot about escorting and stuff and entertainment because, well, number one, a lot of people don't really truly understand things the way that I've come to witness them. A lot of it is not the dirty pictures and images that the government likes to show us. Oh, there is images like that, but we can show them images of politicians that have been gutted, okay, by a mad person. Flesh ripped right off the bone. But we don't go around saying that's what happens to politicians. Okay. They get stabbed to death, they get shot, all kinds of things. They get caught in hotel rooms with prostitutes. What the world calls prostitutes. Tax evasion. Liens on property. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. I understand all of that. But what do you think? Embezzling money? Doing something internationally or worldwide that says what? Knew they would be thrown upstate. Federal prison. Beyond God's prison. They would be put in God's prison. So it's not fair to just go around and always show. Why don't they show what a surviving prostitute that they declare? Huh? Why don't Tracilyn put on God's very best, and we come to the state of Ohio, invite the entire government from around the world that can attend. We don't have to make them attend, do we? Or should I give them a court order that if they don't attend, they're going to lose their position? Be possibly what? They're going to receive a fine and possibly imprisonment. Come on, because that's what you do to people that they don't want to go to court. God says it's what? Don't be a judge lest ye be judged. And well, I don't want to go and judge whether or not somebody did something because what? Just like the O.J. killing. Can you prove it? No, literally, can you prove it? Well, DNA and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. You tell me. I don't want to bring this up, but can you literally prove it? Considering there's technology of other life forms that can enter into a human being at any time and take over that human's body if only I'm telling you that I killed a dog maybe with my own bare hands that could stand what? As tall as my head and was extremely what? About the same body weight. That dog would have shred me if it could have. However, that dog is no longer with us, and I'm realizing today that there was something inside of me that somehow took care of that dog, whether through a laser light, electricity, direct energy weapons. And my cousin's exact words were what? It was spooked by a snake. And what is a snake perceived as the Bible? In the Bible. That's right. Satan. I walked over here. Was there a line there? Obviously this place wasn't around too long after I was So within a couple of years anyway, they relocated, and eventually I hope to show you when the governor removes the mask thing. There's a few things that I would like to do in this lifetime, okay? That I'm not gonna walk into an establishment and be screamed at for not having a mask on my face. I don't believe in the virus. What are you gonna do now, inject me with a virus or have them, or give me symptoms of having a virus? I wear my mask sometimes, okay? I stay my distance from people more than 6 foot, trust that. Okay, a majority of you. Why? Because it's not people that I necessarily, sorry to say this, necessarily want to wake up to every day and give a hug and a kiss and rub my nose with them and stuff. Okay? Tell your government you have the right to live where you want to. I have the right to live where I want to. And they don't have the right to tell you you can't live. They don't. The government doesn't have the right to tell me I can't live. And they don't have the right to tax God. God would never give them that right. And they cannot keep people from eating. And if God has a servant, they can walk into any store where there's food and take food and walk out. It's available for sale. That's prostitution. And that's going against God's better wishes for humanity, especially a believer. If they're going to be surrounded by Walmart security. Ooh, we did much with our life, didn't we? We go around and slapping people on the wrist for shoplifting because they can't afford to buy something in a lot of situations. Be nice. Some of you are very good looking. And I understand your predicament. We're all in this world. I gotta do what I need to do, you gotta do what you need to do. So you think. But are any of us surrendering to what we should do? And I tried to keep it more about Tracilyn, Michael, the visitor, here to say thank you. I'm not transgendered. I don't really, am I transgendered? I'm transgendered female because why I was born with a penis, and the doctor told me, after smacking me on the butt, that I am a boy, and in a world that you are a boy with a penis, you better prove your manhood. Well, there you go. And we're still learning that Tracilyn was the sissy that wasn't meant to be a man, but to be pampered and loved and appreciated and valued. And surely there's something that I can do to be of assistance to a loving parent, right? I can help you out. I just might not be able to or desire to do things that I perceive as dangerous or not with my hands. I won't do that, okay? But there's things I would do that a lot of people would not like to do. Like what? Drive you around. Or drive with you and tell you how awesome you are. I don't know, you tell me. I don't really need that. Yes, you do. You need it more than you realize. You need a buzz in your ear, not a fly, but something that constantly reminds you of what? You are amazing. You are loved. You are appreciated. You are valued. You are a child of the Most High God on a mission. Right, Chicago? You're on a mission. Where's the mission? To say thank you. Because I've been struggling with this for 37 fucking years. I always wished I was a cheerleader. I wanted to be a cheerleader, and I looked at Janet from Three's Company and Chrissy and all of the girls in the whole wide world that I saw on the TV guide. And I said, well, I wish I was born more like you. Well, being a girl isn't all it's cracked up to be. Sissy. You know. And I have learned that being a sissy, what? Is attractive. Come on, it is. Protected. Sissy. Needs loved a special way. Needs compassion. Yeah, come on, don't be surprised that I wasn't brought here in this world as a sissy. So that what? Somebody will come up and push me back and say, I got this fight for you. Maybe. Well, sure, that's what we all want. Well, then, what are we doing standing on the front line? Tell the ones who are filled with testosterone, you get in the front line. You know, why not? Why don't we insist? Not now. In other words, what? Let's consider conversation. Let's consider who likes to eat. What kind of food do you like? What kind of drinks do you like? You like water? The best of everything? like organic? Are you vegan, vegetarian? Do you like meat? Are you okay with meat? Indoors, outdoors? What kind of temperatures can you handle? Are you okay with the wind blowing lightly? You know? What if it's dry out? Beads of sweat all over? Do you need shade? Come on. And I came in here. Through this door. Right here. And again. Was it again, or is this my first time? I say again. Again. I got to meet other people like me. And what is other people like you? Other people with penises that wear dresses and skirts. In other words, they want to wear what the world calls women's clothing. Hold on a minute. We don't have all the other clothing that we were taught that we should. I know. And what ended up happening is, especially when it entered into the retail mass stores, like Walmart, all the t-shirts started to become what we all are all saying the same thing. We're in agreement. Come on. They're like rectangles, like somebody just took scissors on a material, cut it, and shipped it off, you know? Was there any heart in it whatsoever? Was it just pressed through a machine? Okay, maybe the person didn't really want to do it. They were doing it anyway. Maybe they were forced to do it. Okay. Why? We don't want to wear cheap clothing. Come on. We don't need to wear the most expensive. I would say most of us would agree in some... Well, a lot of people, not everyone, a lot of people like to go thrift store. Where other people have really nice clothing. All this. Except for the boots and the socks and the panties. My shirt, my dress, the belt. All got at the thrift store. Thrift stores. Like Goodwill. I don't know if any came from the Salvation Army or not. I don't have all the answers, except for I can start handing out the Bible and let you know that you don't want just any Bible. You want a personalized Bible. Huh? You want to know that it's a gift from God directly to you. And this is for you. You're going to become amazing when you start reading it, every word. And when the enemy tells you, hey, the names thing, don't worry about it. I would encourage you, when you feel you're ready, at least scan through the names. Say what? The enemy doesn't want me to comprehend these names for a reason. Okay. What's that reason? I can't tell you that. Because I'm pretty certain that depending on who it is, it could mean many different things. But you might not be aware of it where you are psychologically right now, and it might not happen for a couple months. It might not happen for a couple weeks, and all of a sudden, what? Now I know why that enemy, Shmenemy, didn't want me to recognize that name. It's from Scripture. Where'd it go? Because you might not have recognized it before. Ha ha ha, I'm joking. It can happen many different reasons for many different reasons, many different ways. And I don't know what it was called back then for sure. Inside, I got to meet other people like myself and familiar faces, maybe, when you're not alone, which was a place where people like me in that area, whether they're a cross-dresser or transvestite, meaning some people it's really a sexual turn-on. Maybe all of them, but I don't know if you want to ask any one of them, do you do this for sexual turn-on, or is it comfortability? Is it okay? Are you going to bite my head off if I ask you? Am I going to get kicked out? And a lot of them will have a sense of humor and talk very openly, especially if you're very respectful and kind and you have a sense of humor. Yeah, and you start socializing. Sometimes we get a drink. I get a drink with a straw. I started drinking different drinks instead of drinking beer. I'm drinking really cool, I don't know. Occasionally it would be wine, but different cocktails and stuff. You know, and I would always try to be careful to get it, as soon as I get in, because I would want to be done within a certain time frame so that when I leave, I'm not going to be driving drunk, you know, or buzzed or anything like that. I cared about that, okay? I don't know about other people, and I'm not saying anything about that. To each his own. I wanted to always be safe, and one thing I asked God is what? Because if at any time that I'm neglecting it, especially with drinking, okay, smoking weed or something, please don't let me hurt anybody else. If anybody gets hurt, and it's me, that's different. I don't want it to happen, but please don't let me hurt anybody else. Okay? Not that way. Because I want to have a good time, and I've realized in my life that I don't want to let anybody else, and God gave me examples, drive you, especially if they've been drinking. And unless somebody had shown me, this is how I drive, and don't you feel we drive a lot alike? And I didn't just learn a driver's ed class in high school. I also took a driving school for semi-truck. And I'm not the example of a driver. I swirl and do stuff too. But it's me, and I'm responsible for me, okay? Once somebody else has that responsibility, I get a little bit nervous. Do you get nervous like that? Some people are comfortable with it. So I always try to be, proceed to say, I try to keep it safe for me and others, okay? I want to have a good time. I want to get to socialize. I don't want people to be, I don't want to be focused on being an escort. At this time, as the beginning stages, and I was kind of like, what, a 6'2", I don't want to insult any 2.5-year-old children. But I was most certainly, at that time, I was wearing little toddler clothing. And it's funny because why? The name my mother gave me in London, Pennsylvania was Todd Michael. And I used to tell people it was funny because I feel like a little toddler. It was my opportunity to kind of start over again, and I cried quite a few times. I did have a couple people, and eventually more people came into my life to help nurture me into at least dressing a little bit more mature. I guess some people would say. In the eyes of some people would say a little bit more mature. With that being said, there I have some pictures. You can go on right now on my Flickr account. If you go into Tracilyn, I think it's Michael. So flickr.com/Tracilyn Michael. And you would notice, because I'm like in probably like a jean jacket kind of vest, and I had a little tiny school, like a little kid's skirt. I used to like to wear knee-high stockings, and I love to wear thigh-high stockings a lot. And to me, it was not about sex. Okay, when I was an escort, I was providing entertainment, and I was entertainment to those I was okay with providing entertainment to. I was not being forced to entertain others that I didn't want to. That's number one. And number two, I tried to be as safe as possible, and I was tested on a regular basis, even till I've been celibate now since 2014, and I was tested several times, and God kept God's word with me, which is what I work to keep you safe. So evidently God was trying to teach me something through everything, and I did. And what is that? People who go around saying they're a hooker for Christ could care less about a hooker in the eyes of others who's accepted Christ as their Lord and Savior, especially if they are in need. And some people would say, well, you don't need, you have accepted Christ as your Lord and Savior. God should be doing God and taking care of you. Maybe we need to hold something accountable that's up there. Do you think so? Or is it here in the state of Ohio? Huh? Are you here in the state of Ohio? Are you leading me to your presence? Maybe. I don't know. Who would it be? Who could it be now? Some kind of man at work. Meaning human. So, we're at 211 North 6th Street. I got to walk in the door here. And I don't know if there's some pictures online or not. I would like to go inside, but I noticed in the studio, I mean, I'm not just going to go in. I would obviously ask. But I think, as it being a recording studio, I don't know if they'd like that necessarily as much. Maybe be okay with it. But number two, I seen by the photographs that kind of the layout is there, meaning it's kind of like a rectangle. To me, it was anyway. and there's some maybe like a small stage or something that's left behind or something, but I don't know if there's a whole lot more than that was left behind. Maybe some things that were in my photograph. So as you can see, got a long rectangle building. I try to always be safe. I love this glass. Isn't that neat? I used to help out with masonry when I was a teenager. And I used to when we would get side projects and stuff, and sometimes, I don't know if we necessarily laid that. I think so, one time. I at least got to lay stuff like that with somebody. I didn't lay it, but they did, and I helped them. And like brownstone and stuff. I don't see any brownstone. So there's others down there right now. I don't want to grab hold of them on camera just. So we're going to get going, and I just wanted to say I'm very grateful that this place existed back in that time. I think it was 2008. Very grateful because it's a place I had an opportunity to go to talk to other people who were dealing with similar circumstances as I was. And I got to meet a lot of really cool people. And you know what's really awesome is when you walk into a room like that, they called it back then, it was Girls' Night Out. It was like a tea party. Here's the thing, check this out. What was really cool is there was a lot of diversity, and that's one thing I loved. And I would have to say that God inside of me was most certainly what really values diversity. God likes diversity. Do you think so? We talk about this oneness, Don't you think there's only one place to go for that? We become one with God when we, accept His one and only Son. We become a child of God. I don't know what other faiths are out there, the details of it. I don't want to change other people's belief system. This is what works for me. And I've realized that the point of focus is Jesus Christ inside of your brain. Okay, you want to be more like that, but good luck, because the enemy, which is anything that is not for the Christ inside of you, assists somehow, in some way, in its natural way, of not making it the easiest thing in the world to stay focused on. So you have to exercise it, psychologically exercise it. And you will come into acknowledgement that the enemy's trying to extinct you, while God's preserving you. God's preserving you. God wants you around, especially if you're willing to serve God, not man's idea. No offense to anyone, but man's generalized idea is lost, confused, out of focus. And that's how we keep making up excuses to cover reckless choices that we've been making and our ancestors have been making, always. In other words, why would we want to take defense to something? Why can't we just acknowledge, this is the truth? Now, best way, as it is written in Scripture, is it in stone somewhere? Do we have to have that faxed over to all representations and leadership positions around the world? God's way is what's best. Now, the problem is if we start to enter into God's way, the enemy has left me know that definitely from afar, somewhere and amongst us, if you start to do things in God's way, then our idea is to extinct the human race. Why? Because they don't want God's will being fulfilled. And they don't want heavenly. You acknowledge what you acknowledge, now leave. And I'm here to say that I don't know, considering life is eternal and we enter into heaven, that we necessarily go away. God did not tell me, Tracilyn, here is your staircase. Tracilyn, here is your means to heaven. Is heaven around us? The Bible tells me it's Jesus Christ. Accept Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, at the very cross. If you believe in me, surely I'm going to see you in heaven. Because evidently something doesn't like Jesus, or he wouldn't be nailed to a cross. Sometimes I think it would be awesome to make like a cartoon or a movie that's more aimed at what a heck of a sense of humor with Jesus during the days of a lot of things that we perceive as what, especially the enemy wants us to perceive it as what, harsh. And some people come into the realization it is the greatest blessing in the world. Oh, he was spit on, he was kicked, he was treated like poop, okay, whipped, slashed, screamed at, did all of that for us so that we may have life. In other words, something had to make a sacrifice. And therefore what? Jesus was his name. And who was it? The only one that could take the abuse, evidently. That's why you should be able to what? Share whatever you want with God. Because Jesus was what? God in human form. Which means that what? God is an awesome, big God that can tolerate the beating. Especially when God's what? In heaven. And God is speaking through you. And God is speaking through you. And God is speaking through you. Can you tell God what you think today? Do you feel safe to do it? Please excuse me for saying what I think about you right now, because I'm frustrated at the circumstances I have been living in for years. I've been calling on you continuously to please help me. I'm helping you in ways you have no idea about. Phone's ringing off the hook. You know? It's really cool because you got to meet people at different places. Like some of them were casual, some meaning once in a while. I get out once a month, I get out twice a year if I'm lucky. Some people have their girl time, so to speak, and other people know I'm full-fledged, I'm all in, a lot of people, I'm getting my surgery. Maybe one or two might walk in, which is like, wow. So, you know, when you get into like the idealism of what it's like to, wow, a supermodel, wow, an actress, wow, a rock star. At this time, when you see somebody that had fully gone through their transition, they have that same similar sensation going on inside of your brain. They don't do it necessarily. It's what's going on inside of you. Meeting a transsexual female, to me, or male. For me, it was female. Come on. There's a part of you that I've been wanting to meet you my whole life. I've been wanting you to speak in a manner that says kick their fucking ass because they're killing us. Their ways. Keeping all of this bottled up inside my brain, the things that I wish I could do, I hope someday they work out and I can do. Yeah, a transsexual female who've gone through therapy, soul searching, any kind of surgery procedures. They went through the process of trying to make things right to their way of thinking instead of what they've been told to do and be their whole life in accordance to all the information that's all around the world. I don't want to say everybody in the white world, but come on. Case scenario here. People want to start making things right in their life and they want the opportunity to live and do fun things as the person they're becoming or are. They don't always want to be in a struggle. How can I live today? Well, stay with some people who will kick you out as soon as they don't like what you're doing. Whatever that is. You have the opportunity, if I talk to them, do you think they'll get upset if I ask too many questions? Or am I asking too many nosy questions? If I asked even one, do I have, can I approach them in a manner that says, I've had questions my whole life and I've been wanting to meet someone like you, I know it. I can tell by the way you walk, by the way you talk, your body language, that not like you, I want to be more like you. And I just started, and I'm getting my ass kicked. You know. Well, some people would say you were pampered the whole way, but reality, psychologically, I was holding on. Okay. And maybe that's what kept me close to God. maybe God was saying to me, hold on to this. Maybe to God, it's not that big of a deal. I got all this taken care of. But maybe to Tracilyn, it's like I'm squeezing God as he's carrying me. You have to meet some people. And not just here. I had the opportunity at a couple different places throughout the country, and what has come to me, there's people in other countries and around the world. They've been living like this since the day they were born. Some people pick it up. Psychology. Oh, I know what you want to wear. You know? Honesty shows that, reveals it. I know what you want to wear, and okay, you're opening up to me. You're telling me what you want to do. Instead of going through the, what? If you wear something like that, you're going to get, what? Beaten. You're going to get the belt. You know, I'm not saying that was necessarily it for me, but I'm just saying I'm sure that many people have gone through. So, See, back in the day, there was also people called admirers. And they were people who were okay with trans people. They all have their ideas, and a lot that I have crossed paths with. Private relationships. God's calling me into the light and tells me, well, you don't want to be private. You know what you want someday, Tracilyn? You want to stand in the center of what? Masses of technology called cameras. Thousands of people. With kings and queens from around the world. And you want to give tongue to somebody who had courage to kiss you in front of them. And you want to squeeze them. And if there's any tears that need to fall, you want to let it out. And laugh and smile. Because what? Something in the world says there's nobody else that would do that with you. But you know 100%. And it's not because of me. It's because the human race has been weakened. Their whole life has been formed on, shh, it's best to keep things private and keep the business matters more business. And God showed me what? Your better business is surrendering to the truth. I even had a problem with age because what? Most people lie about their ages when they're adult entertainers. So I did too. I didn't like it. I said I have to use my real name. So I went by T-Girl Tracilyn, meaning trans girl, so people knew. I want people to know. People think sometimes you're trying to pull a fast one on me, am I? Well, let's lift up my dress and find out if I'm lying to you. Because I'm not as scared about that as you think. So I learned to have a sense of humor with it. Let people know. God has let me know. You don't have to go around telling everyone, but in the same point, when somebody becomes interested in you, the sooner they know, the better. If they don't like it, please leave. Okay, we don't have time for this. So I used to like to post on profiles and stuff. That's why I have it on my profiles now. Tracilyn Michael is what? Pennsylvania Dutch transsexual female. Okay, not your idea of a woman, not your idea of a human, maybe. But the truth of the matter is what? If you don't like it, stay away from me. There are masses of other humans for you to talk to. God does not want me talking to anybody that cannot handle that fact. If a penis in a dress scares you, stay away from them. What do you think about that? And I still have an Audi, but I got rid of the balls. Do you know why? I'm convinced that somewhere, even on the earth, God can what? Create kids, maybe just with words. Or babies can be created just in words, in the right environment. Maybe that's why we're not allowed up there, because we've contaminated. But yes, can take something from us. Is it a rib? A rib of what? And with that, God can produce what? A litter of children, maybe. A lot of them. Can take a rib from you. Create many children. Now, how is that? Some people would say it's in our way of life when we get it right. What? Some people say with Christ. Some people just say when you get it right. starts to appear. It's in and through everything. The letter, children, God's children. There's children in every, or you see a human being and beyond. There's a child inside already. Yeah, it's kind of like in what, a womb? Is it being protected in God's arms, in God's thoughts? Will keep you safe. It's a world perceived by some can be a very cold place. To some, very evil. To other people, I don't know what you're talking about, Tracilyn. This is glorious. This is like heaven to me, you know? Don't believe what I'm telling you and fall into believe that my description is reality.